This is the media workouts for the Daniel Jacobs versus Sergiy Derevianchenko fight that takes place Saturday, October 27th. It's at Madison Square Garden, and it'll be broadcast live on HBO, and it's for the vacant IBF Middleweight World Championship title. We're going all the way back. Can you imagine you're here at this spot, and tell us about fighting on this card in this fight?
Well, definitely couldn't imagine being at having this point in my career. Won't consider myself a vet yet, but I definitely I got a lot more experience, and I'm grateful for that. You know, with all the fights that I've had in the past, all the ups and trials and tribulations that I had in my life. To be at this point is a truly blessing, and I look forward to every opportunity that I can try to take advantage of.
And what were your thoughts on HBO now possibly closing their boxing?
It's a sad time for boxing. I grew up on HBO boxing. It's bittersweet. I'm one of the last cards that they have. So for me, it would be an honor to go out with a bang.
Yeah, I feel it's bittersweet too, because you always thought of HBO as a number one.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the notion all since I've known boxing, HBO boxing. But for me, it's just remaining focused on the task, even though it's a bittersweet moment for the boxing fans, including myself. I have a task to accomplish, and I'm super determined for that.
Did you recently watch the GGG fight? What were your thoughts on that with Canelo?
It was a close fight. When I went back and analyzed it, I thought that this fight, more so than the last fight, could have been a draw if they wanted to score it anything. I mean, the first fight, I thought Triple G won it. But, I want the best in the world, so any one of those guys want to step up to the plate, God willing, I get this victory. That's what I'm here for.
I saw Kristal. Was he part? Was he helping with the cooking or anything?
Oh, of course. This is his fourth time in my camp now. Good friend of mine, brother of mine, and he does everything he does to help in every way that he can, and making sure that I'm in the best shape possible, nutrition-wise. Every car needs a good oil, good gas to keep it going, so he provides that for me.
Had a great camp then.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Danny, did you think any of those Canelo performances were better than your performance against Triple G?
No. I mean, even though he stood forward, which people give him a lot of credit for, including myself, I mean, the fact that he stood and went toe-to-toe was impressive, but you still got to be effective, 100%. And I don't know, man. It's really kind of hard to tell, but I do think I put up a good performance.
I feel like the cat's out the bag, at least in terms of like Eddie Hearn in the press. I think that, he's pretty much hinted that you're moving towards the zone after this last HBO fight. Is that it? And it seems like that's where the middleweight crop is at.
Well, right now my main focus is just Derevianchenko this Saturday because, if I lose this fight, then none of that stuff is promised. So, first things first, let me take care of my opponent, do the best that I can do to provide these fans a good fight, and look forward to the future right after that. We make adjustments every time we're in training camp because we watch our opponents sparring. Well, we watch our opponents film to study bad habits, but it's easier for me because I already know the bad habits from being inside there and have the experience. So it's just mostly enhancing those things to make sure I can be in the best possible shape and use my advantages and explore his disadvantages.
Is it hard to hurt someone who you have a personal relationship with?
No, it's not hard at all. I mean, I've had a personal relationship with Peter Quillen, and we see what happens. So there's no disrespect to anybody. It's more so just taking care of business when I'm inside that ring. There's no friends inside that ring. There's no relationships because if you really look at it from the outside, this guy's trying to take away my future. They're trying to take food off my table and a better life for my family. So, that's an enemy to me once we're inside those square ring.
Was there ever a point in time, pre the fight being announced, that you maybe meditated on that before? Was it always a thought in your mind, this guy's in my weight class, I'm going to have to face him at some point?
Oh, absolutely. I've always kept that in the back of my mind. When you have a guy that's good, you know, you always have to keep him in the back of his mind that you're going to be, or that he's going to be a potential opponent. So, yeah, and I knew this day would come, and that's exactly why, you know, each sparring session I made sure I gave my best. That's why I made sure, you know, I've always, you know, kept an eye on this guy. But at the end of the day, I feel like I have the better advantages, so I'm looking to exploit those things. Well, speed is power, which you don't see and you get hit with. You know, it's hard shots. So for me, I got to get more in the habit of setting up my shots with speed. The last couple of fights, I've been trying to load up. I think I got too much into this power punching, you know, feeling that the fans have kind of put on me. Even though I have a 80-something% knockout ratio, something like that. My skills always set that up, and I kind of abandoned that, so I would go back to put my skills at the forefront in making the skills and the speed and setting up shots, being able to get the knockouts. But, you know, speed kills. Speed is power. It's important to win every round, but it's also important to win the early first 3 rounds just to set the tempo. But for me, every round is important. And I feel like going the distance as many times as I have, 12 rounds, gives me more of the experience and being durable and having that edge in a 12-round fight. Whereas Sergiy would have been 12 rounds maybe once, and he only had a total of 12 fights as a professional. So when it comes to experience, I feel like I have the edge, and I think going inside that ring, that mental edge will push me through.
Danny, it's like I talked to Victor Conte for a while, and a lot of the stuff that he was telling me was so crazy because it goes against what a lot of us were told as kids.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, how much training with him? Like, how much did you change your training regimen?
A lot, actually, and I actually implemented rest a lot more inside my training. You know, whereas we should train every day except for Sunday, you know, we take a lot more days off to give my body time to recuperate. And that's the reason why I've been burnt out a lot of my early on fights, because we would train so hard and exclude the rest portion of it. So now we're implementing all these different scientific training regimens that we have now, and the equipments that we're using that are top notch, that are simulating us being inside, you know, the Colorado mountains or Big Bear or something like that. We're getting that high altitude training, which is awesome. But we also educate ourselves as far as nutrition and all these different things. So it's great being out there.
So I know you answered this, but I didn't hear it. Like, how do you see this fight going? Like, when you visualize this fight?
When I visualize this fight, I just see myself having my hands raised. But when you're at this top level, you can never predict, you know, how it's going to end. You know, situation happens all the time. This is boxing. Anything can happen. One punch can change a whole fight. But I do think that I'm talented. I think that I have the skills, the experience, and everything to get me to victory this fight. Little Nate, yeah, Nate would definitely, Nate the Great. Yes, he definitely would be there, yeah. Well, he's home in Atlanta now, and he's in Georgia, but he'll be coming back this Friday to come and support Daddy, and I can't wait to see him. Thanks.
And I'm Kristal Hart. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll see you at the fights.
What you mind, right? Right, what you want, huh?